What is up, guys? Welcome on back into the channel. I'm Brandon Satterwhite, and today EA Sports released the final deep dive for EA Sports College Football 26. This one focused on Road to Glory, as well as Superstar Mode for Madden 26. So this was one of the rare times we've actually gotten both games in the same trailer. We got deep dives for both modes here today, and so we're going to be going over both Road to Glory in College Football 26 and Superstar Mode in Madden 26 in this video. Before we get into the video, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to leave it a like, because it helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you like our football coverage, go check out our dedicated football channel called SGO Gridiron. We're almost halfway to reaching our goal of 1,000 subscribers on that channel by the end of the year, so we would really appreciate you guys going and checking that out. I will leave a link to it in the description of this video. But with all that out of the way, guys, let's get into the video.
Sports Gamers Online is the #1 source for the sports gamer.
Alright, so we'll start with the Road to Glory deep dive, because it felt like this one was a bit more in-depth, and I had some issues with Road to Glory in College Football 25. I felt it was a little bare bones, and they have definitely made some changes this year. Now, I did a video a couple of weeks ago when the content creators and news people went down to EA and actually played the game, and then they were talking about the things that they had experienced, and we had heard a little bit about what Road to Glory was going to be like, and I made a video talking about that. This kind of confirms everything in that video, and now also gives us a little bit more of the details on it as well. So when you create your player, you're still going to choose which star rating you start out as, and that's a key thing, is now your star rating can fluctuate throughout the course of your career. And sadly, we already heard about this. It had been leaked, but yeah, there are no new positions this year. The quarterback, halfback, wide receiver, Mike linebacker, which is middle linebacker, and then corner are still the only 5 positions that you are able to play. Sadly, that was something I was very disappointed by. I feel like there should definitely be some more positions added, specifically defensive end or edge and safety. I mean, those are incredibly important positions. They definitely need to be in the game next year at the very least. I mean, this is just ridiculous at this point that it's still just these 5 positions. But anyway, moving on from that, they do say that there are new archetypes for each of those 5 positions, so you can choose your archetype after you've chosen your position, and then you go into creating your high school football player, and they've got, all of the new arm angles and stances and all that. So there's a lot more in-depth creation for your player, and then you also get to create your high school. And so there are 6 presets for mascots that you can choose from, but you can also import a full team builder team for your high school. So if you want to build your actual high school exactly how it was and import it into Road to Glory, you can do that. And we are talking about high school because we do know that high school has been added into Road to Glory this year. And so basically what will happen is you'll get to play 5 games in your senior season of high school. And we'll get to more of that in just a minute. So basically, before you start playing your games, you get to set up your recruiting board. And this is where you can pick up to 10 schools that you are trying to get scholarship offers from. And when you go into this screen here, you can see a whole lot of different information. You can see your tape score for that particular school, because your score is different for each school you are pursuing. Your projected role if you were to go to that school, what their current depth chart looks like at your position, and then any head coach boosts or tendencies that you would get for going to that school. And you can also see other players that school is targeting and pursuing as well. So if there's other players at your position that they are also recruiting, you need to know that you are basically competing against those other recruits to try to get these scholarship offers from these schools. And you can also change up your schools at any point. You can remove teams, add new teams, you can swap the order of them and all that. And while you're in high school, basically the main goal is to build your highlight tape, and that is how the schools are going to assess you. And so when you go into a game, you can see here, you're not actually going to play the full high school game. You'll be given a list of these 5 basically different moments, and you will pick 4 of them that you get to play. And basically a moment is 1 drive of the game. So if you're a quarterback, you'll get 4 offensive drives. If you're a linebacker or a corner, you'll get 4 defensive drives. and each drive will have usually it'll be 2 goals, where one is a smaller one that's easier to complete and one's a little bit harder to complete with a lot more value. Some of them will just have 1 goal and it'll be worth a lot more, but it'll usually be a lot harder to complete. And you can see here school tape score boost. So each of these moments will impact how schools view you differently. So you can see here, if I do this highlighted moment here, well, for USC, I'm going to get 2 times the tape score boost, as opposed to, say, LSU and Notre Dame, where it's just a 1.1 boost. So if you have a particular school that you're trying to get a scholarship offer from, you'll want to make sure you're doing the moments that give you the highest score boost for that school. And then once you enter the game, when each drive comes up, you'll be given this little screen telling you which specific goals are on this specific drive, and again, reminding you of the boosts for each school on this particular drive. It says you'll have access to your full playbook, customized to your archetype. A pure runner might see some quarterback design runs, while a pocket passer will have additional plays that stretch the field through the air. At the line of scrimmage, you'll have full control with access to pre-snap adjustments like audibles, hot routes, and pass protection shifts. And then you'll also be able to see your drive goals here the entire time while you're playing. And then afterwards, you'll be told, whether you were successful or not, your impacts, if you did anything else that also, boosted it a little bit. So the person also got an offensive touchdown and field goal range reach, so that gave them a little extra boost on top. So they got 300 game tape score for that particular moment. And after each game, your star rating will adjust, as well as your national, state, and positional rating. It'll go up or down. So you can start out as a 2-star and try to work your way all the way up to a 5-star. Or, on the other hand, if you're a 5-star and you keep failing these goals over and over, you can drop all the way down to a 2-star player. But they did say that if you are on any difficulty other than Heisman, you will be given the chance after each of these moments to retry one. You'll only be able to retry it once, it looks like, because it says 1 remaining here. But if you're playing on Heisman, you won't get to retry them. You just get 1 shot and that's it. And then throughout the week, the coaches from the schools that you're interested in will reach out to you and talk to you. Sometimes they'll, want to figure out how interested you are in them, and then you have to make a choice, because you can come out and tell them, hey, you're my favorite school, you're the one I really want to go to, and that'll increase your chances of getting a good offer from them, but it'll also decrease the interest of the other programs. Or you could publicly signal you're no longer interested, tanking your odds with that school, but giving a boost to schools still on your board. Every response matters, and each decision reshapes your recruiting picture. So I think this is going to be something that I'm really interested in. I know that not being able to play the full high school games is pretty disappointing to me. Like, I wanted to be able to actually play the full games, but I do like the recruiting game within the game, basically, where you're, talking to these coaches and trying to get them to like you, and also figuring out if you like them or not. I really am interested to see how realistic that feels. And then you'll also still have the scenarios with your teammates like you had last year. And then they have these things called highlight moments. So when you're talking to some of these coaches, one of them might offer you a specific moment for your next game. Now, if you accept that moment, then that'll be a drive where you're only working towards boosting your score with one particular school. You won't be able to boost your score with any other school, but if you are successful on that moment, your boost with that particular school will be like 6x instead of the usual max of 3x on a normal moment. So it's a really big boost if there's a school you really want to go to. And you can see an example of it here where Texas offered you to do this one, and if you end up doing it, you'll get 6x tape score boost for Texas, but none of the other schools are here. And then eventually you'll start to get scholarship offers from different schools, and you'll get this screen, giving you the letter that you've officially been offered a scholarship, which actually looks really, really good. But that's not the end of it. It's not just about getting the scholarship offer. It's about getting a top tier scholarship offer. So when you're offered a scholarship, there are things that come along with it, and that can include things like stronger starting values in academics, brand, leadership, and training, additional XP, extra skill points, and then higher starting coach trust for once you're actually in college. And as you can see here, like with these little meters, what the values of each of these scholarship offers are. Now, if you get an offer from, say, Oregon here, and here's what your starting offer is. Now, if you continue to play really well, then your offer from them can increase later on. So once they've offered you a scholarship, they may come back the next week after you played really well and say, hey, we're going to up this a little bit. So now instead of just 2 across the board here, you actually get 4 across the board here or something like that. And the same is true if you play really badly. If you get a really good scholarship offer from a school, but then you go out and you fail all your moments, then they can either lower your offer or they can actually end up pulling your offer if you start playing badly, or if they sign another player at your position, then they may not need you anymore and they can actually pull that scholarship offer from you. The only way to lock in a current offer with a school is to verbally commit. And so you can see here, there's a button, hold X to verbally commit to an offer. That will lock that offer in. So that offer from that school won't get any better or worse. However, the offers from the other schools will continue to change dynamically. And if, say, I were to verbally commit to this offer from Oregon, but then 2 weeks later, Texas comes with a much better offer, I can actually decommit from Oregon and then commit to Texas. Now that, allows me to get the better offer from Texas, but then if later I was like, I still kind of want to go to Oregon, I kind of like to get a new offer from them, it's going to be much, much harder to get a new offer from Oregon after you decommit from them. And then your final high school game will be considered senior night, and so that'll be your final high school game, and you'll have a special run out, flowers in hand, as you celebrate your final home game under the lights. But it isn't just symbolic, it's also your last chance to manage your schools and try to earn points with them. And then once that game is finished, you'll have to pick your top 3 schools that you're interested in going to. And then once you've picked your top 3, you get to go to the classic signing day ceremony, and you get the hats. And as we heard previously, you are able to do the full ceremony where you can even, pick up a hat and put it back down, or you can pick up a hat and throw it across the room if you don't want it. You can manage it a couple of different ways, which I think is really, really cool. But at the end of it, you do end up committing to your school and going to the college of your choice. Now, once you're in college, there are a few new things. So the weekly agenda is still here. They did say that they've rebalanced how these meters work and how much, you get out of putting so much energy into each one of these. They also said that you'll now have 5 energy points on a short week, 6 on a regular week, and then 7 on a bye week. So that'll give you 1 point for each open day in your schedule. And you'll still have the off-field scenarios and dilemmas that appear each week, and you have to make those choices. You have to manage your career and season health. This was something they talked about in the Dynasty Deep Dive as well, the new season and career-long wear and tear, where if your season wear and tear meter completely runs out, then you won't be able to recover from wear and tear at all until the end of the season. So that's something you have to manage a lot. That's something that's especially important with the health and the training weekly agenda parts, because if you let your health completely deteriorate, then you're going to face some major loss in your ratings. And they said that Coach Trust is back, but they have added some new things to the Coach Trust mechanic. So last year, it was basically the only reason you would try to earn your Coach Trust was until you got your starting position. And then once you were the starter, there was really no reason to worry about Coach Trust anymore. Now, continuing to level up your Coach Trust gets you new things, so you can swap plays, so you'll get more plays here before each play to choose from. Here you can see increased number of plays, audibles. You'll be able to call audibles at the line of scrimmage, hot routes, QB protections, or defensive assignments. These won't be available to you when you first start off in college. You're going to have to build up your Coach Trust in order to get access to those, and the main way to do that is through going to practice and completing objectives in games. And alongside Coach Trust, they've added this new Coach Happiness system that basically is more of a short-term, week-to-week measure of how your coach feels about you. And it says if you have a high coach happiness, then you'll earn coach trust much faster. If your coach happiness drops too low, your coach trust slows. You may begin to lose trust each week, and if things get bad enough, you could be benched or demoted. And then in the trailer, they even say suspended, which I think it's pretty cool, you know, being able, you know, the fact that you have to work to keep your starting job, and it's not just, you know, oh, I'm the starter now, so I don't have to worry about going to practice or anything like that. The fact that you have to keep working on that and keep your coach happy, because again, you can see here, angry, you can see depth chart demotion, he got moved down to QB2. And I like that. I like that you're going to have to work at that. It's another thing you have to manage, which is something that, you know, Road to Glory last year kind of lacked. There wasn't a whole lot to do. Really, all you had was playing the games. You went to practice until you were the starter, and then after that, you didn't really have to go to practice anymore. And then you just had your weekly agenda here. Now you have the coach happiness that you have to manage as well, which I think is a good thing, adding more stuff for you to actually work on and keep track of week to week. And then there were some videos going around where now when you go out on the field, you'll actually get to have your view of the run out. So you can see, you get to, you know, look around, and they said that you'll have full control to like look all around the stadium with the right stick and while you're doing the run out each week, which I think is awesome. I never like had thought about that in a football game, but now that I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, that is so cool. That's so awesome. I love that you actually get to participate in the run out. And I think that's awesome, and I can't wait for that. They also added the play grading system here, so as you play, the grade will, your teammate grade will basically go up if you do good, go down if you do bad. Very similar to like an NBA 2K. Progression is pretty similar to what they talked about in Dynasty. There's more of these parts to each of the brackets, up from 10 last year to 20 this year, so your progression should be more gradual, and it should be a lot faster, I feel like, than what we got last year. And then also with the trophy room, you will be able to view all the trophies that your player earns during his career. It'll work just like the one for Dynasty does. But that is it for Road to Glory. Now let's move over to Superstar mode. And again, you will be able to import your Road to Glory player directly into Superstar mode if you want to. And then the main things that they've added this year are career chapters and then the sphere of influence. So career chapters, they said that previously in Superstar mode, you didn't really have a feel for where you were in your career, like what your current standing was within the league. And so they've created these career chapters to sort of define your progression throughout different points in your career. And so basically when you start out, you're going to start out as a backup with the backup experience, and you're going to basically work towards earning that starting job. And they said, we believe the backup experience should have realistic game action intertwined with other meaningful opportunities to earn a look as a starter. Backup shouldn't have to play through endless chains of drills week in and week out. Game action could be mop-up duty in a blowout where your coach gives you a couple of drives to showcase a specific proficiency. Maybe the starter gets banged up and you get a game or two to show what you've got. These organic moments that mirror real-life NFL will bring excitement to the daily grind of earning a starting job. But then once you earn that starting job, now in Superstar mode, there actually is the threat of being benched. And so they said that while career chapters can be a path to stardom, they can also work the other way. Not meeting coach objectives can put you in hot water, leaving you susceptible to depth chart demotion. And they said if you do get benched, then like Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, or Geno Smith, there is a redemption chapter ahead. These chapters allow you to rehab your career and earn favor back with the coaching staff. And then a new thing they've added is you now can demand a trade if you want to. And they said if you earn enough of a reputation with your agent through the sphere of influence system that we'll talk about in a minute, then you'll unlock the ability at the end of each season to demand a trade. You just pick whichever team you want to go to, and your agent gets you to that new team by the start of the next season. And they said changing teams comes with consequences. You may have to earn the starting job on your new team, and you will definitely have to build new relationships with your new teammates all over again. They've got all these different chapters here, like high expectations, move up the depth chart, prove you belong, next steps, becoming a team leader, fan sensation, superstar, and Hall of Famer. And then they also have some redemption chapters if you like get demoted or something like that. Find your footing, earn your spot back, and a step back. And it says all chapter progression has been fully integrated with the next core feature we've been discussing, which is the new sphere of influence. Now, this is something I like. It's really cool how they've done this. So they've basically every person that you would interact with now has basically a relationship meter. And so as you do different things each week, your relationship with everyone will either go up or down. And so you have like your coach. So if you meet coach objectives and your coach likes what you're doing, then your relationship with him goes up. And as you can see, as it goes up, you start out at QB2, gets here, you're at QB1. Now you get to call pass protections. Now you get different playbook options. Now you get audibles. Now you can call hot routes and all that. You can see all the different people that you can have relationships with: your head coach, your offensive coordinator, your agent, wide receiver, tight end, a corner on your team, the fans. This here, it says doctor something, so I'm guessing this is like a trainer or a sports psychologist or something like that. And it says with your teammates here, are you the type of quarterback who likes to target your tight end? You expect to form a quick bond with him, and it unlocks some very big ratings boosts and abilities for your teammates. However, it also says it can go down. So say you have a wide receiver 1 and you fail to even target them for a couple of games, then your relationship with them could go way down and lead to them not really liking you. There's also other characters alongside there's your tattoo artist. So as your relationship with him goes up, you unlock different tattoos for your player, which I think is really cool. I like that a lot. And then there's weekly activities. These will pop up from time to time each week. And so here it's like you have a flag football attempt, which you like to attend, and it'll tell you how it impacts each person if you decide to do this. And the other thing they talked about was the new game day beat. So it'll basically be how each game is different from one week to the next. So here it says your tight end 1 is out for the game. Your objective: pass for 150 yards and complete 5 short passes. This one, you have heavy snow in this game against the Jets. Change of direction worsens each quarter, and tackles have a higher chance of forcing a fumble. Objective: win a game and achieve a passer grade of B+ or higher. I like that a lot. I like that they're going to give you a little scouting report for the week ahead and those extra objectives, and make each game feel different from one another. You know, the thing about Superstar Mode is it can get very, very repetitive very quickly. So I like that they're doing things to try to make each game and each week feel different and make you feel like you're working towards something, you know? I mean, once you're the starter on a team, especially if you're playing like quarterback or something, you kind of don't feel like you're really working towards a whole lot anymore. But I think especially with the sphere of influence, this is going to give you a lot more to continuously work towards and unlocking new abilities, new connections, new tattoos, or whatever it is. So I really like that a lot. But that's pretty much it here for this one. They talk a little bit about Superstar Live, which is basically the 3-on-3 squad mode. What was it called? Showdown. I don't really care about that at all. I am very interested in doing Road to Glory and Superstar Mode. I'll probably do like a whole series over on SGO Gridiron where I take a player, start off in high school in Road to Glory and go all the way through his entire NFL career. That's something I'm thinking about. I'd really like to try to do that. So again, if you like that sort of content, go check out SGO Gridiron. I'll leave a link in the description. That's going to do it for this video, everyone. What do you guys think of these changes coming to Road to Glory and Superstar Mode this year? Let me know down in the comments what you think, especially about the Road to Glory stuff with the high school being only moments, only getting 5 games, no new positions. I know those were things that people really, really wanted this year. But what do you think about the recruiting and also about the coach happiness stuff? And then what do you think of this sphere of influence here in Superstar Mode? It feels a lot like the map back in the old Superstar Mode on the PS2, where you could go to all these different people and do stuff outside of the game. So let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Also, again, if you enjoyed the video, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our future videos. Go check out SGO Gridiron and help us get to our goal of 1,000 subscribers. And for all your sports gaming news and updates, stay tuned to Sports Gamers Online. I'm Brandon Satterwhite with SGO. Thank you for watching.